Hi everyone, it's Aga from EurekaCrystalBeads.com and I'm here today with another fun beading video for you. Before I get started, as usual, a quick reminder to check out the rest of our channel, and if you like our videos, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you always know when we're posting new content. In today's video, I will discuss beading threads. And by this, I mean threads for bead weaving and bead embroidery, so I will not be talking about any sort of craft or beading wire. I'll be telling you all the technical info as well as share my own experiences and opinions about all of these. So first, I'll list and show you the different threads that are available. Then I'll tell you about their features. Further on, I'll rank them. I will tell you which one is the cheapest, the strongest, which has the most colors to choose from, and the most sizes. Lastly, I'll show you in practice how they perform. So I made a bits of the same thing, for instance fringe and brick stitch embroidery edge, and you will be able to clearly see how they differ. Naturally, all of the threads described in this video you can get and test for yourself from EurekaCrystalBeads.com. Let's talk threads! For starters, let me just quickly show you what's there. So we have Nymo thread, we have Toho One-G thread, then we have KO, we have Fireline, and Wildfire. And I've also decided to include S-Lon super long bead cord and Toho Amiet cord. First up we have Nymo. It's a nylon thread sold on 64-yard paper spools. It's flattened, slightly pre-waxed. It comes in several different sizes from 00, which is the finest, through 0 and B to D, which is the thickest. Originally it was developed for upholstery, so it's quite strong. At the same time, it produces a flexible outcome, and you can get it in many different colors, including cute tube multipacks. One drawback is that this one will fray at the quickest of the beading threads that I will show you when it's overworked, so it's good to condition it first, for instance with wax. Also, the colors do fade a bit when exposed to sunlight, so if you ever want to create something that has thread as a visible feature, you have to consider it. Next, there's Toho One-G. It's Japanese beading thread manufactured by Toho, so the same brand that makes one of the most popular glass seed beads. It's also made of nylon, and it's sold on 50, 125 and 250-yard plastic spools. It's slightly flattened and comes in one size, which is similar to Nymo size B, so the mid-thick one. It is coated with an anti-tangle and anti-fraying agent, so it will take more than Nymo to fray. It's very strong and a tiny bit stiffer than Nymo, but still fairly flexible, so it will do great for virtually any beadwork, from embroidery and bead weaving to loom work and fringes. One-G also offers a wide range of colors and multi-packs. Personally, I can tell it was made for beads, and I did feel the difference when I discovered this thread for the first time. Another option is the KO thread, which comes on these tall plastic spools that have 55 yards of nylon thread on them, and also it comes in one size, which corresponds to Nymo size B, which is the same as the thickness of One-G, but this one is more sleek and shiny. It has no stretch and is fairly resistant to fraying, and it will do great in most beadwork. Like One-G, it's made for beading, and working with it is really great. Now let's get on to the more fishing line-like threads, Fireline and Wildfire. Both of them are sold on round plastic spools at either 50 or 125 yards. Fireline was first, and it's literally a fishing line turned beading thread. It's thermal bonded. It has 3 sizes that are described in pounds because they denote how big a fish the line could take. So there's the finest, 4 pounds, then 6 and 8 pounds. All of them are finer than the previous beading threads, the 8-pound thread being the closest. The Fireline is made of polyethylene, so it's stiffer than the other beading threads, but it is also stronger. It only comes in 3 basic colors, white or crystal clear, black and grey, and it's a great choice for bead weaving to make pieces that are a little bit stiffer. But it's not too good for fringes because they will be well stiff. Wildfire is basically a cousin of Fireline with 2 sizes, which are 0.6 and 0.8 inches, the latter being the same thickness as the mid-thick Nymo, as One-G and SKO. It also comes in several more colors to choose from, and these two kinds of threads are widely loved by beaders for bead weaving projects. And since they are made differently and from a different material, they will not fray for the life of them. Not very good for bead embroidery though. Finally, two honorable mentions here. The first one is S-Lon Super Long Beading Cord, and here I have the micro cord version, which I really love for stringing beads, but it will also do great for bead crochet and teeny tiny micro macrame. It's a nylon multi-filament cord that is very strong and doesn't stretch much. It comes on spools and in different thicknesses. The most popular for beadwork are the 0.5mm, sold on bobbins of 77 yards, and the 0.25mm microcord, which is this one, and it's sold on bobbins of 287 yards. Although they're not useful in bead weaving or bead embroidery, I decided to include them because they're great for stringing beads if you want a flexible, flowy necklace or a bracelet. A somewhat related product here, and the second honorable mention, is Toho Amiet beading cord, which is sold on cute little paper bobbins. This is made of polyester. It's 0.5 millimeter thick, so it's slightly thicker than S-Lon microcord, but it will work good for most of the same purposes. So to string a necklace, to do bead crochet, and for micro macrame. It is also a little bit stiffer than S-Lon microcord, so you may be able to easily string beads on it without a needle. A big plus here is also that this cord comes in various different vibrant colors to choose from. Okay, now why don't we rank these threads? Here I focus on the bead weaving and bead embroidery threads, so I'm not considering S-Lon or Toho Amiet cord. So per spool, the cheapest thread is Toho One-G, followed closely by Nymo. A little bit farther is KO, and Fireline and Wildfire are head-to-head as the most expensive ones. Okay, but what about per yard? Well, I've done the math, and you can get the most thread for $1 if you buy Nymo. Then with almost the same result comes One-G, then KO for 4 cents more per yard, and full 10 cents behind comes Wildfire, with Fireline coming last, 4 more cents per yard of great quality behind Wildfire. I did consider getting a larger spool, which are sold for One-G, black and white Nymo, and the fishing line threads, but remember that for the nylon ones you can also get multi-packs. In most cases it's a good deal. Let's go on with the ranking. The strongest thread is hands down Fireline, with Wildfire right there sharing the first prize. Second, we could put all of the nylon threads together, but if I had to, I'd rank Nymo a tiny bit behind. The smoothest thread, again, would be Fireline and Wildfire, but when it comes to the nylon beading threads, I'd go KO, then One-G, and lastly Nymo. All of them are quite smooth, but KO is like half a level up above all the others. Alright, now how about the most colors to choose from? This category is an indisputable win for One-G, with the most colors available on single spools and in multi-packs, both on small and large spools. We carry 22 colors of this thread, and next after it comes Nymo with a great choice of colors in sets and a smaller number of colors on single spools, which is the opposite for KO, of which we offer 14 colors on single spools and a couple more in multi-packs. And all of these leave the last contestants much behind, with Wildfire offering several basic colors, of which we have 6, and Fireline only 3. Alright, then we know which threads offers the most colors, but what about the most sizes? In this respect, Nymo is first with as many as 4 sizes, from 00, which is the finest, through 0 and B to D. Then we have our Fireline with 3 sizes, Wildfire coming in 2 sizes, and you can get the rest of the threads in one universal size. Now, how about I show you how these threads work in practice? First up, I've prepared some bead weaving, brick stitch in this case, and fringe, and the fringe is our main focus here. Let's start with Nymo. So as you can see, it's kind of free flowing and wiggly, and if I do this, it just kind of bends with my finger. So it's flowy and it dangles just like it's supposed to. And I purposefully used 2 different sizes of beads in the ends so that you can see how some of them are lighter than others, which will be visible especially when we reach Wildfire and Fireline. 1G, it's similar, it's very flowy. They also bend with a finger, most of them. If this fringe was longer, that would be even better. KO, as you can see, it dangles as well. It also bends with the finger. So all of these are the same thickness as well. So you can see that they are really, really kind of similar. Like that. Let me just show you that's KO. That's 1G. And that's Nymo. So that's pretty similar. When it comes to the bead weaving, it kind of bends as it usually will. Same in all cases. But that just brick stitch for you. If we go to Fireline and Wildfire, and this one I did with Fireline, Wildfire will be similar, but this one here that I have is thicker, so it will be even more stiff. So as you can see, it doesn't dangle as much. Maybe if you did the fringe very, very long and with some really heavy beads at the end, then it would dangle more, but take a look at this. So you can see the difference, right? So it doesn't bend so much, it doesn't flow. So here's this difference. When it comes to the bending, I mean, brick stitch always bends one way, the other not so much. But you can see the difference quite clearly. Here I made some herringbone pieces using all of these threads so that you can see the difference when it comes to a different kind of bead weaving. Starting with Nymo, as you can see, it's bendy. Let's see how it bends. Pretty easily. And if you make it longer, it's going to work very well around your neck. It's going to be very flowy. So it's good for a necklace. 1G is next. It's a little bit less flowy, but still very soft. As you can see, you can bend it easily. Same for KO. Also pretty flowy. And I can bend it easily. So I would say KO and Nymo are similar in this respect. 1G is also similar, but a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit stiffer. But when you take Fireline, and again, Wildfire, since it's thicker here, I have 0.008 inches. It will be even stiffer, but look at that. I mean, compare it to Nymo. So on my right, there's Nymo. Look at that. So obviously, Fireline is stiffer. I mean, it's really, I can bend it, but it's hard. Like naturally, maybe up to this point. So definitely stiffer. Here I prepared a piece. This is lacy stiff stuff. I have made a piece of brick stitch finish of each thread, so you can see the difference, and I'm going to work one more bead in each of these so that you can see what it is like to work with each of these threads. I'm also showing this to you from like the back so that you can see that each of these can be melted. That's the end that I melted with a lighter. so you don't have to tie a knot at the end, you can melt it. Okay, so now I'll be working one more bead with Nymo. This is 1G. KO. So these three are pretty similar. Now this one is Wildfire. As you can see, it's already harder, even though the thickness of the thread is the same, it's harder to get through that foundation. And if I had to go through both foundation and ultra suede, that would be even harder. So that's why I don't really like it for bead embroidery. And finally, we have Fireline. So you can see that technically you could work with any of these, and the best thing to do is to just find out on your own which one do you prefer, what are your preferences, and if you already prefer either of these, let us know in the comments and let us know why you like or dislike either of these threads. Alright guys, that's all in this deep dive into beading threads. I hope I made some things clearer. Let me know if I missed any important information or what should I do next for the all about video. Again, all the types of thread that I discussed can be found at eurekaCrystalBeads.com, so go and check them out yourself. For now, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!